1,000 deaths have been reported in the U.S. After curbing the first outbreak of the coronavirus in the spring, countries in Europe are now in the grip of a second wave. In Italy, infected, and over 216,000 deaths have been reported in the U.S. After curbing the first outbreak of the coronavirus in the spring, countries in Europe are now in the grip of a second wave. In Italy, 5,000 new cases were recorded in a single day on Friday for the first time since March, with health authorities mandating masks outdoors and preparing new restrictions, such as a ban on private parties. In France, the number of patients in intensive care has surpassed a peak that they hit back in May. And in Spain, there are restrictions on leaving and entering the capital, Madrid, which is under a state of emergency. And in the UK, health authorities say the number of hospitalizations have quadrupled in the past 3 weeks, and there are now more COVID patients than before the government imposed a lockdown back in March. To early voting now, which kicked off in Georgia yesterday with long lines and high turnout. Voters were forced to wait in hours-long lines at some polling locations. Some were there for, get this, nearly 10 hours before successfully voting. Georgia officials say they saw a record-breaking turnout, which was likely helped by Monday's Columbus Day holiday. However, similarly long waits had marred the state's primary in June, when a record number of voters also turned out. Officials said there weren't any issues with voting machines, but they did note the lengthy wait times. Democrats had been urging people to vote by mail because of the pandemic, but President Trump has repeatedly railed against mail-in voting, falsely saying it's prone to fraud. That is what voter suppression looks like, folks. Still ahead. Despite the White House being a hotspot for coronavirus lately, the president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, refused to wear a mask in front of reporters yesterday. We'll show you that moment from Capitol Hill. Plus, Amazon Prime Day is here. We will take a look at some of the best deals available. I'm looking forward to that. But before we go to break, we want to know, why are you awake? Email us your reasons at way too early.